The snap was like a cruise missile, guided by telemetry right into my hands. I was so used to having to scramble for it, or at least jump, that I dropped the ball. I scooped it up on the first bounce, bubbled it briefly, and kicked with all my might. The punt was nearly vertical, bending slightly as it reached its apex. Then it plummeted into the pack of offensive linemen. Heads! I called. They scattered. Good hang time, baby, called Jake, grinning. Todd jogged over and put his arms around my shoulders. Senior year, Rick. You only get one. He gestured over to where Nelson was sucker punching the tankling dummy. Unless you're Jaworski. You've got to play to the front row. I tried to follow his gaze. His eyes were focused on the empty bleachers of F. Scott Fitzgerald's High's third-rate football field. I didn't get it. Who's in the front row? He looked at me as if I had a cabbage for a head. Scouts. College scouts. I guess I seemed pretty bewildered because he added, they're not here now, but there will be. What college is going to send their scouts to a dump like Fitz? I asked. Todd chuckled. Come on, Rick. I'm good, but I'm not that good. They're going to want to see me play before they offer a big scholarship. And while they're scouting me, that's the golden opportunity for the rest of you to get noticed. Jake gave me another perfect snap, and this time I got off a fairly decent punt. At least this time it went forward. Was Todd serious? College scouts? I mean, he was pretty good for around here, but I couldn't picture Miami or Notre Dame so desperate for talent that they send their people to Fitz. That would be scraping the bottom of the barrel. Everybody knew that. Even Coach Hammer knew it. Of course, that didn't stop him from making his usual inspirational speech at practice on the first day of school. He babbled on about the great tradition of the old green and gold, which we players secretly called the old snot and mustard. Naturally, no one reminded the coach that last year the Broncos had gone 6-8 in a league where even the champions were pretty mediocre. And for sure, nobody mentioned that the great tradition consisted of citations for ineligible players, steroid use, vandalism, and a former coach who was presently doing time for Grand Theft Auto. So it's up to us to carry the banner of that legacy in the new millennium. The coach finished. I wonder if he was willing to do his part by boosting a Corvette like the old coach. He clapped his hands. All right then, 10 laps and hit the showers. As we headed for the cinder track that rang the field, he pulled me aside. Now, you, Paradis, we're going to have a little talk about the field goals. I popped up my helmet and walked to the sidelines with him. What's up, coach? He draped a beefy arm around my shoulder pads. I'm not stupid. I heard the guy snicker when I talked about last season. We lost 4 of those games by 3 points or less. And let's face it, at least once a game, we blew a field goal because of a bad snap. I could see where he was going with this. Jake's great, coach. He's practically automatic. He nearly put his finger through my chest protector. You have to be automatic too, Rick. From 30 yards or less, you can be the difference between 6-8 and making the playoffs. Starting tomorrow, Jake, Todd, and you. The snap, the hold, the kick. 30 minutes. Got it. I couldn't help asking, what else does Jake do on the field? Besides snap, I mean. That's it, the coach replied. That's his job, long snapper. I was confused. But you always said that quarterbacks should tackle, receivers should punt, and linemen should learn to throw. Don't you remember? You said if you want to be a specialist, go to proctology school. Mm, this guy's different, the coach tried to explain. He's not a football player. He's too slow, he's not strong enough, and he can't throw. He can't even pick up the ball with one hand. He's got no skills. So, what made you recruit him? I asked, mystified. I didn't, the coach shrugged. He recruited himself. Last June, after school is out, I'm in my office winding up the year, and he just kind of shows up. Says he's moving to the district and he wants to play for the Broncos. So I asked him the usual questions: what experience he's had, what position he's played. Zero. He doesn't know football from goldfish. But he's begging me, won't take no for an answer. So finally, just to get him out of my office, I say, I need a long snapper. If you can be a long snapper, you can play on my team. I figure I never see the kid again. But there he was, sitting on the floor outside my office when I went to open it up in August. And he was a long snapper. A good one. I frowned. It was possible. Long snapping wasn't brain surgery. But why would anybody bother? I mean, it's nice to be on a football team if you're a football player. But if you're not, what's the point of finding some obscure way to sneak in through the side door? It seems like a lot of sweat for nothing. I looked over at the track. There was Jake, way out in front of the pack. Then I realized that he was really last, and the rest of the guys were lapping him. It was a big switch from the image of the confident, universally loved host at the party Friday night.